Hello everybody, welcome to week number 5 of HRD 631. Congratulations on making it through the first 4 weeks of class. I think the discussion posts have been just excellent. The class participation has been stellar, and I want to thank everybody for staying with this class. Now, you've heard me say it before, but this class is considered a survey class, which means that we are exploring and we're learning about a lot of different ideas and theories. We don't go too deep with any of the ideas and theories, but we cover a tremendous amount of topics. I won't say that the topics and or the depth that we go is thin, but we just don't get into a tremendous amount of information on each one of them. Each one of these chapters could be a entire course. So, welcome to week number 5, and I'm going to quickly give an overview of what's involved with this week, what are the topics, what is due, and what I am going to be asking you to participate in. Okay, so the first thing, as you can see on the screen, we're in week number 5. Watch the overview video. The one that you're looking at on the screen will be replaced with the one that I am recording right now, so when you get this, the most up-to-date version will be up here. Framework for week number 5. I think this is where, at least to me, we started getting into some really interesting adult-specific learning theories. The first one is Malcolm Knowles' andragogy, or some people call it andragogy, which really provides the basis and/or set of assumptions and/or possible theories about how people learn. It's been critiqued as more a set of assumptions than theories. I'll leave that to you to determine by reading the text and some other materials on the subject. For me, it's also how do adults learn, but also what are the implications for adult teachers or teachers of adult and educators of adults. So to me, this whole topic of andragogy really was a topic that I explored in depth through my doctoral work and beyond. It's been a fascination of mine for many, many years. Then we got into McCluskey's theory of margin, which really has to do with how much is on your plate, what kind of power do you have to deal with what's on your plate, and the mathematical equation between the load and the power is the margin. So basically the margin is how much energy do you have to deal with what's on your plate. So fascinating subject, also has to deal with adult learning and implications for adult learning, because if you have too much load, meaning there's just so many things on your plate, you don't have the power to deal with your load, your margin is not going to be much. So many people are in that situation, including, I think of this current current situation we're in with COVID-19. If you are fighting for your basic necessities, looking at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food, shelter, and clothing, you might not have a job, you might be working 2 or 3 jobs, your load is going to be tremendous. And if you don't have resources to deal with that, your margin is going to be really low. So I'm very interested in your ideas on this subject. And then we get into, Jarvis has a model on adult learning which takes some of the concepts discussed in andragogy and builds upon those. So, as I say, each one of these theories or ideas results in some change in the person. That has to do with really the extent and the intent of the learning. I'd like you to be able to articulate the major goals of self-directed learning. That's one of the textbook chapter, and implications on all of these for instructional practices. So, what are we going to do? Read the text, chapters 5 and 6, and for those of you that are you're reading the 3rd edition, please read chapter 4 and 5. have an optional reading, which is called the Pro Model, and then another optional, an electronic reserve Pro Model, and then an optional reading, Learning Beyond High School. That's truly optional. I'd actually put both of these in the optional categories. Neither one of them are referenced in the discussion posts, so you can read these. I'd encourage you to read them, but in effect, you're not going to be tested on those. I'd like you to view a PowerPoint I put together on these chapters. I said chapters 4 and 5, but they're actually chapters 5 and 6. So getting a little mixed up here. I'll change that, but those are, take a look at the PowerPoint, optional video on YouTube on andragogy and self-directed learning, right here. A video on McCluskey's theory of margin. And then due soon. So at the end of this week, February 28th, the exploration project question. So that is specifically the question. I'd like you, when you submit it here, I'd like you to put just what the question is, or put your name in that information, but I'd also like to know what your question is and what specifically, why this topic interests you. You don't have to do maybe a couple, 3 sentences at the most. So once again, what's due is the question, just the question, and I'd like you to state the question and then why is this an important topic and or why are you interested in this subject. Okay, so getting back here, the framework is just what I went over. Brief summary of these 2 chapters. It's in paragraph form. A PowerPoint presentation that I put together specifically on these 2 chapters. Electronic reserve materials. A preview for those that are trying to get ahead for whatever reason. It could be you're traveling, you're going on a trip, whatever it might be. So you can take a look at week 6. And then for those that are interested, you can click on this, the exploration questions from previous classes. It'll give you some ideas of what people have researched in the past. And then finally, we have a discussion post for this week. They're based on chapters 5 and 6, the adult learning theories. Select one of these theories or assumptions. So it doesn't have to be a hard and fast theory. And as I mentioned, andragogy is kind of in that nebulous, the in-between. Is it a theory? Is it a set of assumptions? Then please discuss 1 or 2 key points from this theory and discuss implications for teaching adults based on this theory and or assumptions. So that is it. That's the entire week. Like I said, we're going to be studying andragogy, self-directed learning. These are 2 very big components of adult learning, and I will say also of teaching adults. So if you have any questions, please let me know. We will not have an optional Zoom meeting this week. Everything that we're going to be doing is online, asynchronous. Any questions, please contact me, and I'd be more than happy to help in any way possible. So I look forward to reading your discussion posts this week. I hope you have a great week.